All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a quick review for part 2 of Stranger Things 4. Alright dudes, so I definitely want to go ahead and do kind of a quick sort of review for the finale episodes, I guess, for Stranger Things 4, for Stranger Things Season 4. So we've now seen the final 2 episodes for Season 4. This season is kind of strange how they sort of cut things up. They kind of did like the part 1, which was the first 7 episodes, which feels like it was like the bulk of the season. And then they had a break, a month later or so, a little over a month, July 1st, we're coming back getting to see part 2 with 2 episodes, but they're really long episodes. So they're like, I haven't checked the run time length for part 2 versus part 1, but it kind of feels like it's maybe half. Like we saw like 3/4 or something in the first 7, and then episodes 8 and 9 they come back with in part 2, with particularly episode 9 being really long. Now that said, I did really enjoy getting to see these final 2 episodes of this season for Season 4 of Stranger Things. We're hearing that Season 5 is likely going to be the final season, so whenever they get that done, we'll be seeing one last season, Stranger Things 5, and then the series is going to be ending. This season is strange for me after seeing, Stranger Things, so a good choice of words is strange. I really loved the first part of the first 7 episodes, and then when we came back, I feel like it was a weird break in terms of momentum. A lot of times they give us all the episodes at once. There's some streaming services like with The Boys where Amazon is doing it on a weekly basis. This one for me, coming back, I was kind of amped for it, but I just thought coming back with only 2 episodes is a weird way to do it. They are very long episodes, and episode 9 is particularly long. I want to watch it in one sitting for both episodes, and I kind of did. But I almost wish they would have broken it up in terms of episodes a bit more and, just had the count be higher and kind of split them off, because episode 9, even though it's epic, the Piggyback it's called, which is kind of like the final climactic battle of the season and everything, it's and one of the biggest episodes, I think, and I say of the whole series, it's certainly one of the biggest episodes. It should be, because it's the final battle of the season, the final climactic moment. It should be, the biggest of the season, but maybe it's not my favorite episode of the season because it's so long and so drawn out. It's almost like a movie by itself. And there's a lot of kind of lag time in it or slack time in it that, I don't know. So episode 8 was okay. That one is called Papa. And you kind of get kind of the wrap-up of what's been going on with 11 and mostly the setup for the big finale episode, right? So you see the stuff with Papa. And we'll keep this mostly spoiler-free if people haven't seen it yet. There's no reason for us. If you've seen it, you know. If you haven't seen it, no problem. I won't really ruin too much for you for the season. Episode 8, Papa, is like an okay episode for me. It's mostly a setup episode to see where they're going to go in episode 9 with the finale here for Stranger Things. For now, episode 9. So we get to see the final climactic battle. They kind of use Max again in this one. 11's, involved now. You have 1 versus 11, which is a kind of an epic sort of confrontation. But for some reason, I kind of felt like their past battle at the lab, for whatever reason, was a little bit more epic. At least, it seemed kind of like that to me with the mid-season finale. I guess you call it the mid-season finale, or part 1's end. So we get sort of the culmination in episode 9 of everything together. You get the stuff that's going on in Russia with the 3 there. You have Hopper and the others. You have the stuff that's going on in Hawkins, and they try to tie in like the storyline with Jason, who's going after Eddie with it, and then you have the survivors kind of going after Vecna, going after 1, and basically we get to see kind of the final climactic battle. So in terms of a score for this sort of part 2, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'm a little bit disappointed with the way it kind of ended off, because usually I really love Stranger Things and it's kind of always awesome. I felt like the first part of the season was a great start, really off to a great start. I like the new addition of some of the new characters with Eddie and the others. It felt very scary, and you had some character deaths per episode. It had good pacing. Coming back with these 2 episodes, back to back, and having that kind of be it. I wonder why they did this. It might be because maybe an episode order count or something from Netflix, and they kind of wanted to tie up so much. But it feels like in episode 9 that they were tying up so much that they had set up prior, that I think they had a bit of difficulty. You got the Demogorgon fight and that and Russia and the other parts that are going on there. And then, you do get kind of the happy, well, I won't spoil too much, but there's some happy ending elements to it. And, at the end of this episode, as you might expect, then there's some other sad parts, because you do have, some character deaths and whatnot, and injured characters and stuff like that after the final fight. So this one is strange for me. The Piggyback, I kind of feel like the way I would describe this, I think they set up to do so much stuff in these final 2 episodes, and to try to condense it all within like 1 episode for episode 9. It seems like they tried to put so much into it that it kind of was a little bit lackluster in terms of the final battle. And it was still intense, it was still exciting, but it also had a sense for me of almost repetition. Like they used the Kate Bush a song, which is awesome, running up that hill and everything, so really great. But they had used that before, so they kind of brought it back. They had some Metallica and stuff like that in this, which is cool. And you got the bats and stuff like that. But it kind of felt like it was weird. They had done a lot of the things, and this is the final climactic battle, right, in episode 9 with Vecna. But they had done a lot of kind of the same elements and kind of climactic moments in this that we saw in this were so similar to what we had seen in the first part, that it almost felt like, even using the same theme songs for, or one theme song anyway for part of it, it kind of felt like we were kind of going back to seeing the same kind of things. So I'm not going to say it seemed repetitive, because it was kind of new and everything like that, but even the bats and everything that they go in and as they're fighting and everything like that, I just feel like with the Piggyback, I think they tried to cram so much into just this 1 episode, and so it made the episode feel kind of bloated, and it felt like this probably could have been 4 episodes or something. Lightning or thunder outside. It felt like this could have been like 3 or 4 episodes split up, and maybe the pacing would have been a bit better. Maybe it wouldn't have been as exciting for just 1, but it's so long that it's it's a lot to watch through on 1 sitting. So part 2, unfortunately for me, for Stranger Things Season 4, is a little bit of a letdown. I don't know if I'd say this is my favorite season of Stranger Things now. I think part 1 was amazing. I loved everything they did in part 1, but they have kind of like the stuff with Jason, for example, and Eddie. It's kind of like sort of thrown in there, and they try to kind of make it, and you've got the stuff happening in Russia at the same time as the stuff's happening over here, and some of the characters, are spread out, but they're sort of close to, and they're kind of putting the scenes together with Demogorgon over here and how that affects over here. And I'm not going to say it's bad. Stranger Things is usually always awesome. I don't know if this is my favorite season of Stranger Things after seeing this finale episode. In some ways, I want to say it kind of is, but in other ways, I just feel like they did some of these things, in the first part, and some of it's the best stuff in the first part, like with Maxine, for example. And then in this part, they kind of do something similar to what they had already done. And even the stuff in Russia, like they kind of get out, they escape, and then they kind of go back or something, and then it's kind of like, I mean, I guess so, but there's just a sense in my mind when I was watching, especially episode 9, of doing kind of some of the storyline being so similar to what had happened in the first part, that it was too similar or it was too familiar and not enough kind of new nuance. Now, we kind of all kind of expected, we kind of got to see, I think, in the episode 9, which you kind of would expect to see, especially since there's going to be a season 5 and everything, so this isn't the end of Stranger Things overall. But a little bit let down at the end, because I thought part 1 was so incredibly well done, and maybe trying to wrap everything up that they had kind of set up earlier was difficult to do, So the payoff in episode 9, for me anyway, wasn't quite what I had. It wasn't quite the build-up that the first half had. Either that or maybe the break of a month and a bit in between broke up the momentum so that, not watching it week to week, coming back, and then there's just 2 episodes. So you're kind of coming back, you're just getting in the swing of things. Episode 8 with Papa is just okay. You're kind of getting back in it with that. And then episode 9 is quick. And it doesn't have enough new elements versus the first part. It just feels a bit disjointed. So that's my review for it. Always love Stranger Things. Love what they have done with the season overall. I think Vecna is an awesome villain, but just felt like that final battle sort of, and what we saw here didn't feel as epic as it probably should have. Felt too familiar to what we saw in part 1 to me, and so it was an okay finish off, but I don't think it was amazing. So that's my review for part 2 of Stranger Things, spoiler free. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Are you like me, where you're kind of like, yeah, it was pretty good, but maybe I like part 1 better? Or did you see part 2 and think that the ending was like the best episode of Stranger Things ever? I don't think that season 4, episode 9 is the best episode of Stranger Things has ever done. In fact, I like some of the episodes in the first part better because they don't try to do so much all at once and kind of feel like the beats in it or the points in it that are supposed to be kind of like epic are sort of somehow, I don't know, they're somehow not quite as, they're kind of like what you'd expect, but then at the same time not as sort of impactful and epic as you would think it would be. Or maybe I'm just out of the mode because of the month break and kind of feels weird to watch it after, not kind of warming up and getting back into it. 2 episode comeback is a strange choice. Maybe you just do 1, or you do 4 or 5 or 6 or something, and you work on that pacing a little bit. I thought that Jason was a cool character too. They could have maybe used him a bit more, a bit better. I kind of wanted to see something with him and Eddie continue, and so many things set up Lucas there too, and so many things set up 11 and 1 Vecna, and all these different things set up, and kind of a quick finish off, even though it's an extended episode, but like one episode where it's like a quick finish off that it kind of felt like maybe there should have been more there, or coming back to it after the break, we should have had some more episodes there, because it doesn't quite feel like a whole second half to a season or something, and at the same time it doesn't feel like it's a finale, 1 episode finale. A little strange. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this one, and I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.